Football is back. So are we. Corbett's Corner here on a Monday. The return of Corbet's will be this week as we get into week one of the football season. We did have a couple of games here for week 0, and we got to get to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So that as well as some baseball. And then we'll talk Boston College, who opens up against Colgate this weekend, who I thought was a dentist school. Maybe that's just the toothpaste, but the spread is minus 50.5. And you already know we're laying it. So let's go ahead and get to Scott Frost, probably one of the most overhyped coaches in college football. And there are plenty of overhyped coaches in college football here. Glasses on, I've got some stats for you. They lay a dud against Illinois. Shocker. I wasn't going to bet it because I'm like, Illinois, it's so public. Are they seriously going to, is Nebraska finally going to figure it out? Of course not. They lose. I ended up taking Illinois live. And of course, Nebraska found a way to lose. Even against the backup quarterback for Illinois, new coach, Lovie Smith, out after he did terrible there for 5 years. And they allowed the backup quarterback and the total quarterbacks who played only 19 attempts, 15 completions. That's inexcusable. I mean, Nebraska was in it, but are we about done with Adrian Martinez? I remember it was, I think, year 2 under Scott Frost. That dude was like 4th highest on the Heisman board, and he was god awful. He was fine, but he just doesn't win. He had a crucial fumble lost. And I mean, he's an overhyped player who's going to be tied to this overhyped coach, Scott Frost. This is year 4. You start 0-1. Is he gone? Do you fire him? What makes you think that you should keep him? So the record speaks for itself. Scott Frost now 12-21 with Nebraska, 9-18 in the Big Ten. I always like giving college coaches 5 years, but Scott Frost, I'm running out of patience here in year 4. My goodness, they were a 7-point favorite. They lose outright. They face Fordham this week. So, I mean, come on. They're going to go 1-1, right? Minus 42.5. I don't think I saw anything from that team this past week 0, that tells me they're even going to beat the Fordham Rams. Are they the Rams? By 42.5 points. That's crazy. What was crazy that I found out is that Scott Frost, remember the UCF undefeated season, 13-0, and he beats Auburn in the Peach Bowl, gets the Nebraska job. He's a savior. He's coming back home. The hometown kid, the quarterback. The last time Nebraska was relevant, he comes back, and he's never finished better than 5th, tied for 5th in the Big Ten West, which features teams like Northwestern, Minnesota, and Purdue. I mean, aren't you supposed to be Nebraska better than those teams? Scott Frost was supposed to help you there. He single-handedly, Nebraska, as they've forced Bill Moose into retirement now, just completely, they're a mess. You had the reports that they were doing unauthorized workouts during the pandemic, and you watched both programs, Minnesota, the Gophers, who will hopefully get both the Dawsons with a little early season report as they're ready to get throttled on Thursday by Ohio State. But you also watched Indiana soar past you. We'll see how they'll do again this year. They've got a big game coming up in opening weekend. But the funniest graphic out of all of that was, I think it was, he has the worst winning percentage in the history of Nebraska football coaches amongst 2 guys whose portraits, their head coach photos, were taken in black and white from the 50s, 60s, 40s. It's been a while, and Scott Frost is making it, he's making it look easy being one of the worst coaches in program history. So I mentioned the Gophers, Ohio State, Thursday. That's big for people here who believe in Gopher Nation, who believe in row the boat, ski you ma. I've got a question for you. As not a Minnesota fan, but I'll watch them. I follow the team, but who do you trust more in this scenario? Is it PJ Fleck, who I'm kind of like, all right, I think he had a nice magic in the bottle season, but do it this year? Or do you trust this CJ Stroud guy? Right, new quarterback, Justin Fields gone, Chicago Bear now. I love Ryan Day, former BC coach in the assistant staff. He moved on to bigger and better things at Ohio State. We got a good one in Jeff Hafley, but Ryan Day, that's a nice coaching tree that came from Boston College too. Minus 14 for Ohio State on the road. That seems a bit short to me. Again, maybe it's because we have the unknown in CJ Stroud, the redshirt freshman. But PJ Fleck, is he going to be able to perform at home or lay a dud? Because Ohio State usually does come in and absolutely destroy teams on these primetime games. Thursday night, that should be a good one here. We'll see if the Gophers can hang tough. Mentioned Boston College minus 50.5 against Colgate. You might have to go searching for this on your books. I don't even know if they're going to have it. but we're laying it. You already know. PGA Tour season wraps up this weekend with the Tour Championship. PGA, they've had some great playoff tournaments, playoff holes following these tournaments this season. Bryson DeChambeau against Patrick Cantlay was no different. They went to like 8 playoff holes. They're throwing darts left and right. DeChambeau absolutely chokes away numerous putts. Cantlay was he was 1 back in the water on 17, and he somehow found a way to win and take the lead in the FedEx Cup. So now they have this kind of staggered start, right? So Cantlay, it's kind of bizarre. He'll start at 10 under, and I think the next closest guy, because he's leading the FedEx Cup standings, number 2 is either Rahm or one of these guys, Finau, but they start 2 shots back. So basically, Cantlay's got a lead. If he can go low each day, he should cruise to win the Tour Championship. However, if Rahm has a great round and Cantlay maybe slips up, shoots a little bit closer to even par one day, somebody's going to slip past him. So I think it's a cool format. You're going to hear golf fans not agree with it. John Rahm was actually just voiceful about this, that he didn't agree with it. He ended up not really performing as well as he should have in the last 2 playoff tournaments, most recently here in the BMW. But Cantlay has the lead. Who's going to be able to take him? Rahm, I think, is favored. But watch out. It could be an exciting weekend here as the PGA Tour season wraps up, and then a couple weeks off, I believe 3 weeks off until we get the Ryder Cup. So that'll be fun. And of course, the new season starts in the fall. A season that is dwindling, but somehow we find ourselves still in the hunt. The St. Louis Cardinals, after going 4-5 against Detroit and Pittsburgh, right? It went Pittsburgh, Detroit, and then Pittsburgh again. Alex Reyes, I tweeted this out. He gives up a 3-run bomb in the bottom of the 9th against Pittsburgh, lose a heartbreaker. We're somehow only 2.5 games back at the Reds, and we start a series with the Reds. So the Cardinals, again, just finding a way to play 500 baseball for what seems like the 10th year out of a decade now after we won in 11. We just find ways to lose these games. I don't know what it is. That was another one yesterday. Goldschmidt heating up again late season. It's been a weird transition for Goldschmidt from a Diamondbacks jersey to the Cardinals. Like, he's been great, I would say, but it's been a tale of 2 seasons. It's very Matt Carpenter-esque back before, he got old and became useless this year. But Goldschmidt, he has a really slow first couple of months in the spring, and he absolutely tears it up. And hopefully he can help us lead to a wild card berth. That's probably the avenue that they're going to have to take. Is it going to be against the Reds? Padres are losing ground. The Dodgers and Giants are obviously still battling out for the NL West. Goldschmidt heating up, and Flaherty now back on the IL after he came back for a couple of starts, a cup of coffee. It's going to grind to the end. We've got September ahead of us. The Cardinals do heat up when it comes to September in their franchise pass, but they're going to need Reyes, their closer, to pick it up. 3 blown saves since he only had 1 on coming into August 18th. He's had 3 blown saves in the last 12 days. Not good. The latest to the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. How about Adam Wainwright, though? This guy is just, defying age left and right. He's 1 win away from tops in the MLB. Now, wins are not a great stat of pitcher's performance, but Waino is actually he's had a phenomenal year, right? He threw the complete game. The shutout. He's had these magical moments. It was just reported that Yadier Molina has re-signed with the team. Give it another go, 1 more year. I think Waino's going to get a similar deal. I mean, why not? He's still shown that he could be in the back end of rotation, if not a number 3 guy. He's got 2 World Series titles. He's got the postseason. Like, if we make the postseason, is Waino going to start the wild card game? Because I think that's who I would go with. So we got to get there first. And it starts with the Reds tonight. Are they going to tie me in? Am I going to watch this game and only have us be shut out 3-0? We'll find out. I guess I'll keep you posted. Cardinals 63-60, lackluster against 2 of the worst teams in baseball, Detroit and Pittsburgh. Yeah, Detroit's been all right this year. 4-5. You can't do that against the bottom teams in the MLB and expect to make the playoffs. Can you beat the good teams? The Reds. The series begins tonight. Corbet's Corner. We're back. Football is back. Corbets will be back as we head into week 1 of the college football playoff, winging it on its usual date as well this week. We'll talk to you then.